Apart from the odd shower across Sunday, it looks like it's going to stay largely dry with some sunshine. Don't forget, you can always check out the BBC Weather app for where you are or where you're heading by checking online. See you later.
Stav, thank you very much. And that is it from us. It's time now for the news where you are. Goodbye.
And a warm welcome to Points West this Thursday evening. In our programme tonight, the calm after the storm. We look across the region and assess the damage inflicted by Storm Ciarán.
It's a concern that the water will destroy some of the houses as well. There are at least 4 families flooded last week, and we're really concerned for them. And we're concerned for our school. We're putting the flood defences up every night.
We'll also be getting the all-important weather forecast from Ian. Also in our programme tonight, researchers try a new way to boost immunity to shingles. The award-winning fireworks firm from North Somerset working around the clock ahead of this weekend. And the wonderful friendships formed even when guide dogs don't quite make the grade. Good evening. The West braced itself for Storm Ciarán, and as the wind and rain edged its way across the region, it caused chaos in places. Several roads were closed, schools shut and workers sent home. The village of Martock was left partly underwater, but other areas got away relatively unscathed. With the latest, here's Pam Caulfield.
This was Martock in Somerset at 4 a.m. 3 hours later, it looked like this. Many roads have been impassable, but despite warning signs in place, some motorists still tried their luck and got stuck in the floodwater.
They don't realise that how deep it is and how dangerous it is, because you cannot see currently where the road is and where the river is, which is 4 feet deeper.
The fire service were called out to help with rescues. There were long queues on the M5 southbound near Bridgewater as a caravan overturned. Rail services were also affected. With the line flooded, there were no trains all day south of Taunton. Some schools were shut, including this primary in Dauncey in Wiltshire. Being right next to the swelling brook, they've been on high alert.
We've been upgraded to a red flood warning this morning, so we're quite worried that our families won't be able to come and get the children. They all live quite rurally, and we're concerned for our school. We're putting the flood defences up every night and taking them down every morning, but I don't know if that will be enough.
School children weren't the only ones sent home. 10,000 construction staff at Hinkley Point C were too, as all work was paused due to the weather. The River Yeo burst its banks. Right next to it is the golf club. No one's going to be playing here anytime soon.
Most years there's an occasion where it will flood, but to this level not since the floods of 2013. And you can see behind me here with the flag on the first is quite high up there.
There haven't been many reports of properties being flooded. As the water filters into rivers, the Environment Agency predicts more alerts, mainly for areas that normally flood though.
The rivers have coped well. The ground's very saturated, so as we get more rain, and we are due some more over the next few days, they will continue to be dangerous and fast flowing. And our advice remains to the public to be vigilant, tune into flood warnings and messages and stay safe.
Surface water running off saturated ground has caused a lot of the disruption. A landslip closed off a lane in West Chinook in Somerset. Elsewhere, high winds have brought down trees, like this one in St Mary Redcliffe in Bristol. Workers were drafted in to try and remove it before rush hour. In Yeovil, residents themselves have been mucking in as the clear-up gets underway. Pam Caulfield, BBC Points West.
Well, joining us now is Councillor Mike Rigby from Somerset Council. Thank you, Councillor, for joining us. What's the very latest?
Well, it's been a busy 24 hours. We've had 139 reports, 139 incidents that we've attended. 108 of those, I'm pleased to say, are now clear or made safe. We've still got roads closed, the A359 south of Marston Magna, the A358 at Ilminster and Donyat, and the A356 are all closed still. So we need people to be aware of that and to avoid those areas. We've had lots of notice of this from the Met Office, which has helped us. We've stood down all of our planned maintenance today. We've used those teams instead to respond to the incidents, and that's helped us to get through them much more quickly.
Oh, that's interesting. Were there any surprises? I mean, no flooding is ever welcome, but anything that you really didn't see coming?
Well, I'm pleased that we only seem to have reports of fewer than a dozen properties flooded. There was a point, I think, when we were planning, we thought we might see more than that. So that's really good news. If you have been flooded, I direct you to the council's website, which is www.somerset.gov.uk. Big banner at the top of the page there will direct you to all the information you need about being flooded and what you can do after that. And another message I really want to leave with people is please don't drive through floodwater. As little as a foot can lift your car. Aside from that, you may end up ruining the engine of your car, which will lead to an interesting discussion with your insurance company, and you block the road for emergency services as well.
Do you know, with our filming today, we saw that so many times. There were villagers saying people just haven't seen the signs, they're going straight through. So it's interesting you mentioned that, because as much as we keep saying it, people will still keep doing it.
Yeah, it is a problem. You know, the message is, please don't do it. Don't go through the floodwater. We'll put up signage wherever we can. Sometimes the waters rise quicker than we're able to do that, but it's pretty clear as you're driving along when you've got a lot of floodwater in front of you. And we just urge people not to drive through that. I've heard reports today from in South Somerset. We've had apparently a lorry driver stopped by the police for driving very quickly through floodwater and causing a bow wave, which then flooded properties. So there's all sorts of reasons not to do this, and I'd urge people to take that advice.
Yeah, and just remind us why we shouldn't walk through it as well.
Yeah, indeed. About a foot of fast-moving water will take a person off their feet. Again, it's really unsafe to do that. We've also got to bear in mind that with the amount of rainfall we've had, lots of pressure in the drains, manholes can get blown off, so you don't know what's in the water. As well as being knocked off your feet, you could end up being stuck in a drain.
I know, and we keep saying it. Hopefully, maybe people will heed that warning. Thank you so much, Councillor, for joining us today and all the hard work. Now, thank you for joining us as well this Thursday night. Hope you weren't too badly hit by that weather. Ian, of course, is going to be here soon to tell us whether the worst is over.
So Storm Ciarán has moved away but has left a legacy of a number of Environment Agency flood warnings across parts of Somerset in particular. I'll have your forecast details later in the programme.
And the Turnip Prize for art created with zero effort is back. We will have the highlights. I'm really looking forward to that. Now, researchers here in the West are looking at a new way of boosting immunity against shingles. People aged 50 and over are being invited to take part in a new trial in which shingles and COVID vaccines are given at the same time. Our health correspondent Matthew Hill has the details.
Liz has had her life blighted by shingles ever since her first attack 6 years ago.
The shingles had actually attacked then the sciatic nerve. I already have a spine problem. I went back to see my back specialist. He said there's nothing I can do until you're through the shingles. And it was about 6 months before I was really clear of it. It has since returned 4 times.
1 in 3 of us will get the infection that causes a painful rash. Each time it leaves her in chronic pain and anxiety.
I'm a worrier by nature, but the shingles has made it 100 times worse. It really has.
Is it the pain of it that's made it?
It's anxiety.
About the pain?
About everything. Meeting new people, going to new places, travelling, even just something as simple as going to a coffee morning here. I get desperately anxious about it.
So you're anxious about me being?
I'm very anxious about you being here, both, yes. And it's been a very big step for me to say yes.
Shingles happens when an old chickenpox infection is reactivated. With the body's immune system keeping it in check, the virus can remain inactive in the nervous system for decades, but can flare up later in life. The symptoms include a tingling or painful feeling in an area of skin, a headache, or feeling generally unwell. In the UK, a shingles vaccine is offered to people when they reach 65 years old. Flu and COVID-19 vaccines are also offered to people in this age group. That's why researchers here in Bristol, Gloucester and Bath are inviting the over 50s to take part in this trial to see if they can give at least 2 of these vaccines at the same appointment. like they do with COVID and flu jabs at the moment.
We want to know what the immune response is like and what the side effects are like when you have both vaccines together as opposed to having the vaccines by themselves. And we're looking for people who are age 50 and over who haven't had their flu or COVID-19 vaccines yet to come forward as soon as possible.
Meanwhile, another trial in the West is still trying to find out if patients newly diagnosed with shingles can be helped with an antidepressant. But it's likely to be a long wait for results. Both trials could spare thousands from a lifetime of pain. Matthew Hill, BBC Points West.
Plans have been submitted for a £1 billion science and technology hub in Cheltenham. The landmark project in the Golden Valley will be one of Europe's largest purpose-built technology campuses, specialising in cybersecurity and companies which are developing AI. It's hoped 12,000 new jobs will be created.
Well, this is a fantastic development that is going to benefit everybody in Cheltenham. It's part of the UK's national cybersecurity strategy. So we've already been working with the Canadian cybersecurity delegation. We've been working with other nations as well. And most importantly, academia. So we've got about 20 universities that have all been part of the planning of this process.
Over 1,000 homes and a new primary school are also part of the plans. How exciting. We'll stay across that. Of course, cybersecurity and AI, so in the news today, isn't it? Somerset Council's considering selling over £200 million worth of property as it tries to avoid going bust. It includes shops and offices bought by the old district councils. The sale, thought to be at a considerable loss, would allow the council to clear some debts as it looks to deal with a £100 million projected budget gap. The charity running the Beacon music venue has been told it'll have to pay back £8 million to Bristol City Council. The old Colston Hall is due to reopen later this month under its new name after a lengthy rebuild costing more than £130 million. The Bristol Music Trust has been given 2 years to decide where the money will come from, and then it'll be allowed to spread the repayments over the next 30 years. GP practices are being encouraged to sign up to a scheme to improve healthcare for armed forces veterans. If doctors complete training, they can be accredited as veteran-friendly. Our Gloucester reporter Steve Nibbs has been to a surgery in Dursley to find out more.
Dr Simon Ofer's practice in Dursley has recently signed up to the Veteran-Friendly Accreditation Scheme. It was set up by the Royal College of GPs and NHS England to help doctors better understand and support medical issues that affect veterans.
For example, if they're having a bit of trouble sleeping, they might come in with that. If you knew they're a veteran, you might explore issues of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and so that you'd be much more attuned to what they were at risk of. And that's really why what I really like is a preventative healthcare thing. So you're looking for those signs early.
How you doing? Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
It's known that military veterans are more likely to become ill with mental health and orthopaedic issues. So Dr Ofer is working with former paratrooper Jonathan Pape to encourage more GP practices to sign up to the new scheme. Currently, only about 30% in Gloucestershire are.
It helps the whole clinical team in the GP surgery once they have become accredited, and then the training is passed on by the point of contact GP in the surgery. So it then becomes a holistic education programme within the surgeries.
We'll be able to search for all our veterans.
With greater knowledge amongst GPs, it's hoped that they'll be able to refer veterans who need help to more specialist services, such as the NHS's Operation Courage, which helps with mental health and well-being.
Veterans, unfortunately, would rather see someone who has a good understanding of being in the military. The NHS GP may not know that, but just showing an interest and having the confidence to go and asking, well, what did you do when you were serving, and listening and showing an interest, and then recognising there might be a problem, and then making the referral really might make a difference to that veteran.
Dr Ofer and Jonathan are hoping that GPs across the county will now get accredited. A small step that can make a huge difference. Steve Nibbs, BBC Points West, Dursley.
Wayne Barnes, the West Country referee in the recent Rugby World Cup final, has announced his retirement from the sport. He's described his time as a top national and international referee as an incredible journey. In a statement that was released on the social media platform X, he said his children had missed out on time with their dad for far too long, and he was now looking forward to family weekends, sports matches, school assemblies and birthday parties as well. That's really sweet. We wish him all the best. Now, the sale of Glastonbury tickets has been moved back by 2 weeks. The first ones were due to have gone on sale this evening, with general tickets available from this weekend. But the organisers say that the new dates are now, get ready for this, everybody wants to go, 16th and 19th of November. The reason that they've given is that so that everyone who would like to buy a ticket has got time to register. There was something with that. So if you want to go, you have been warned. A 3-year-old Labrador has been the centre of attention in Cirencester today. Rudy is a buddy dog to 2 children with a visual impairment. Now, he did train as a guide dog initially, but took kind of a career change at the beginning of this year. Ross Pollard went to meet the family.
The best of friends. Rudy's a buddy dog, given to this family in Cirencester at the start of the year by the Guide Dogs charity. Ollie and his brother Theo, who are visually impaired, can't wait to get home to see him.
Like when I come home, when I'm a little bit sad at school, I come home and then he comes running up to me.
When I come back in like a hard work or day, he comes and greets me. He comes out waiting, wagging his tail really hard, and he's really happy just to see me.
Rudy was being trained as a guide dog, but didn't make the grade as he jumped at the sight of squirrels and cats. So the charity offered him to the Pritchett family as a buddy dog. The family pay for the dog's upkeep, and Mum and Dad say it's worth every penny.
Ollie is quite timid, and he's really brought his confidence out. He's got a different relationship with each of them. It's just, you can take him anywhere.
And while we were there, a surprise for Rudy. He was reunited with the family from Corsham who raised him as a pup.
Oh, that was special, so special to see Rudy again after all this time. It was lovely.
Janice and her husband have raised 26 guide dog puppies, and they're glad to see Rudy is keeping up the standards.
I think he remembered me, but it was very well controlled, which I was pleased about. That's all part of his training with us. You know, to keep paws on the ground when he met sort of visitors. So I was really pleased to see that he still remembered that.
Rudy is now part of the family. He might not have had it in him to be a guide dog, but he's proving to be a top buddy dog for the Pritchett family. Ross Pollard, BBC Points West in Cirencester.
I love everything about that. They're just so unconditional, aren't they? And apparently they are looking as well for more volunteers to bring up those guide dogs too. I'd be useless. I get licked all the time by my dog. He'd be rubbish. Anyway, bonfire night is fast approaching, and one North Somerset fireworks firm is particularly in demand, having been crowned British champions. Skyburst, which is based in Upper Langford, has been operating for over 40 years. Tracy Miller has been to have a look at how they work.
This is the British Firework Championships in Plymouth. After years of trying, Alan's firework company finally crowned the best.
And you finally did it? At last, yes, we won. Which, yeah, we're second and third. It's always nice to get a position, but there's nothing like coming first.
The Skyburst company are based in Upper Langford. Alan gave us the tour.
Yeah, I mean, these are like single mortar tubes. They're the tubes that we fire the aerial shells, like the big pom-poms that you can see in the sky. So if you spin around here, you can see that we've got a lot of the tubes all in different racks, and these racks all bolt together.
The crew spent hours carefully positioning the fireworks, but the display starts with a computer programme.
Phenomenal. It's accurate to 1/1000th of a second, which corresponds to our firing equipment, which is also accurate to 1/1000th of a second. And fire.
What about the impact on the environment? The debris? Alan uses a computer again to manage this.
What it allows us to do is to predict exactly where any of the debris or fallout is going to land from the fireworks once we've performed them. An average display in November produces about 17 kilos of CO2, and that's the equivalent of one person driving a car 88 miles. So it's actually relatively small. We've got our own factories in China, and we insist that we want them made in a traditional fashion, so that we use recycled cardboard.
And the impact of noise.
There's no such thing as silent. All the fireworks have to make a noise to function. We fire probably more lower noise displays per year than we do normal.
Skyburst's next big display is in Bristol this Friday. Tracy Miller, BBC Points West, Upper Langford.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be loads of displays going on this weekend. We'll get the weather in a sec. Now, the West's biggest or smallest contribution to the art world is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. The Turnip Prize, in contrast to the more prestigious Turner Prize, honours entries based on how little effort the creators have put into their pieces. A special exhibition's been put on featuring loads of the previous winners. Rhiannon Wynell has been to have a look at this one-of-a-kind retrospective.
Yes, I'm here at the New Inn pub, the home of the Turnip Prize. And here you'll see artwork you won't get anywhere else. It's marking 25 years of the contest, and it's become a Somerset institution.
Red tape, Ukraine and queue jumpers. Just some of the entries for the Turnip Prize, a spoof art competition like no other. The contest, which honours the worst art possible, has been running for 25 years. And to celebrate, organisers have put on an exhibition, The Best of a Bad Bunch.
Well, I'm David, and my winning entry in 1999 was Alfred the Great.
Were you the first winner?
Well, winner's putting it loosely, but yes, I was the first recipient of the turnip.
How did you get the inspiration for this piece? Because it does feature 2 burnt buns.
Yes, well, I think it may have been one too many beers of a late night, and went home and realised what was still in the oven, and hence Alfred the Great.
This is my creation UKIP, and I won in 2014. I wanted to enter the competition because we just moved down here and couldn't be bothered to make much of an effort, and so I got my sleeping sheet, and there it is.
Your piece is jamming with muddy waters. Would you say that winning the turnip was the highlight of your life?
No, I wouldn't have said that. Somehow, I like to think there's something I achieved just once.
And have you got any tips for anyone entering this year?
Oh, yeah, I think if you're at an all-time low and you really can't be bothered to do anything, now's your time to enter.
If you've already thought to try and apply, you're putting too much effort in. Just take what comes.
It's now open for this year's entries, but just a reminder, artwork showing too much effort gets disqualified. So what do winners get for making no effort? This, a turnip attached to a wooden base. With such a trophy up for grabs, who wouldn't want it on their mantelpiece?
So joining me now is Trevor Prideaux. You created all of this. Did you think it'd still be going 25 years later?
Well, it never fails to amaze me, really, how the people of Somerset and now the wider UK and the world send entries in. We get about 120 entries every year. It's absolutely fantastic. We wouldn't keep doing it if people weren't having so much fun with it.
Yeah, and what kind of things are judges looking for when you get these entries?
Yeah, lack of effort, a good pseudonym, is it rubbish? Yeah, all of those things, really.
Would you say that you've had a big impact on the art world?
Probably not, no.
Well, London's got its Tate Gallery, Somerset has got its New Inn and this competition. You know, let's face it, this is really unique, isn't it? That this is something that anyone can take part in and have a bit of fun with.
Yeah, it's a fantastic event, and lots of people, like I said, you know, we get about 100 and 120 entries every year. Lots of people have lots of fun with it.
And the contest for this year is now opened up. So what would be your key bit of advice for anyone thinking of taking part?
Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. And if you win, you'll be famous like these people for literally no time at all.
Thanks, Trevor. So there you have it. So the display here is on till the 7th of November. And if you fancy taking a shot at the top prize yourself, you've got till the 21st of this month.
Thanks, Rhiannon. The irreverence is overwhelming, isn't it? Send us your thoughts. We're still trying to work some of them out. Oh, I love that. Right, didn't love the weather. Let's find out what's in store. Hi, Ian.
Hi there, Alex. Hi all. Yes, there certainly wasn't much levity thanks to Storm Ciarán, certainly across various parts of the country down towards the south, and of course in the Channel Islands where it proved very destructive as feared. It's worth noting that this particular storm registered the lowest recorded central pressure, atmospheric pressure, for November across Wales and England within the climate record. So it really did pack a punch. We kind of dodged a bullet of sorts across the West Country. The strongest winds generally confined to the south. The rain was much more widespread. This was the story at 10 o'clock this morning as effectively the backwash, if you like, was following in the wake of the storms. It departed out towards the east, and thereafter the rainfall started to dissipate, become much more hit or miss or showery, and that's the picture just recently on the radar. The legacy, nonetheless, not least in parts of Somerset, is a real number of Environment Agency flood warnings, a few across in Wiltshire. Either side of these that I haven't shown on here are innumerable flood alerts, the lower tier. Well worth going to the Environment Agency flood warning website to keep across these. I know that the problems down in Somerset are unlikely to disappear very quickly. The storm, mind you, is disappearing. That's going to lead to a much improved day tomorrow. Overall, a good deal drier, brighter, barring some showers. But by Saturday, we've got this next area of low pressure running in. That's going to give a thoroughly wet start to Saturday. By the afternoon, improved, yes, but still some rain around. It looks like Sunday will be the better day, but still prone to being pretty blustery at times. As is the case at the moment, it's still fairly breezy, fairly blustery out there in certain parts of the West Country. And through the course of tonight, a few showers feeding in from the west. But you'll notice for many of you, unlike last night, it will be a dry or mostly dry affair. Temperatures will settle somewhere about 6 to 10 Celsius. The wind gusts here registering into about the 30s of miles per hour in some areas. And so tomorrow we pick up the theme that we've left overnight. So, you know, drier and brighter weather for a good number of you. Some of the spells of sunshine should be quite protracted. Showers in the mix, yes, but I would stress it'll be nothing like today. It'll be a much, much better day all round. The temperatures tomorrow should get up to about 11 to 12 Celsius. And then, as I mentioned, more wet weather is on the way as we head into Saturday, particularly through the first half of the day. That rain tending to turn lighter and patchier through the afternoon into the evening. Sunday does look a better day. It still looks a changeable affair as we head into next week. There we go, Alex.
OK, well, thank you for giving us all the heads up on Ciarán. Well, that's it from us. I hope if you've been affected, you're OK. And of course, let us know if there's anything that we've missed. We always love to hear from you. That's it for now, though. Will's back later. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hello from the